We up and going, we up and going. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing today? We here for another amazing lesson to better help you understand momentum and how you can create some and apply it in your life and the importance of it. So what's up to all my fellow explorers of the vibrant mind? I'm your behavioral coach, Justin Fales, and I'm here to help you ground spiritual wisdom into your everyday behavior. Today, we're diving into something that bridges the mystical and the practical, the law of momentum, and how your daily behaviors are either accelerating you towards your dreams or creating invisible resistance that keeps your wheels spinning forever and ever until they, get worn and fall off. And we don't want that for you, okay? Think of momentum like a sacred river flowing toward your highest destiny, the highest version of yourself you can imagine in your mind. Every single behavior you choose is either adding water into that river, making it flow faster and stronger and more rapid, or it's creating dams and debris that slows the flow, the current. So the ancient Taoists understood this perfectly when they spoke of the Wu, a line action that flows with the natural current of the universe. But here's what most people miss. Momentum isn't just physical, y'all. Guess what? It's energetic as well. It's psychological as well. It's spiritual as well. Your behaviors don't just affect what you do. They reshape how you become at the cellular level. Okay? At the subconscious level. And yes, even at the soul level, y'all. So buckle up because we're about to explore how every choice you make is either building your momentum or tearing it down brick by brick. All right, so we're going to tap into the physics of behavior, y'all. And let me make sure my mic good. I'm trying to try something different today just so y'all can see more of my face and the things that I got on, you know what I'm saying? So, we're going to talk about the physics of behavior today. Let's start with something Newton understood, but most spiritual teachers forget or withheld from you. Objects at rest tend to stay at rest. Simple concept. And objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Now, this just isn't physics, y'all. It's the fundamental operating system of human behavior and consciousness. Think of your current life situations as your behavioral eye, okay? If you're stuck, that stuckness has its own momentum, the momentum of being stuck, of feeling stuck. Now your behaviors are stuck. If you're thriving, that success creates its own forward pull. It's magnetizing you forward. But here's the key insight that changes everything. Everything. You're not just a passive object being acted upon. You're the force that initiates and directs your own momentum in the first place, y'all. You are that force. And we don't give ourselves enough credit for these things that actually occur in our life. Momentum starts and ends, guess with who? You. So, in applied behavior analysis, or ABA, we call this behavioral momentum effect. When you establish a pattern of successful behaviors, even the very small ones, each success makes the next behavior more likely to occur. It's like creating a psychological flywheel that gets easier to spin with each revolution, okay? Once you start spinning that wheel, y'all, it gets easier to spin. But to start the initial spin takes the most effort. The Hermetic principle, as above, so below, applies perfectly here, y'all. Your micro behaviors create macro momentum. Every time you choose to align action over the easy action, you're not just completing a task, you're literally rewiring your neural pathways in your brain. You're strengthening what neuroscientists call the executive function. That word executive, think of where that word executive What other word is it in? CEO. Okay? And building what mystics would call your spiritual willpower. I recently had a download straight from God, and God kind of told me, man, look, you got a lot of stuff going for you, a lot of things happening, but your willpower at times, you need to strengthen that muscle. You've relaxed on the will part. So therefore, my momentum in certain areas of my life seemed to be more larger than me, when all it was I hadn't exercised my will enough to strengthen my willpower. But here's where it gets mystical. The Kabbalists speak of razon, divine will expression through human will. When your behaviors align with your highest purpose, you're not just creating personal momentum, y'all. You're tapping into cosmic momentum that's always accessible to you if you align yourself up with it. You become a conduit for universal energy flowing forward through manifestation into the physical realm. Think of it like this. Imagine you're pushing a massive boulder uphill, pushing that jump like, At first it takes like a lot of effort, tremendous effort, just to really get it rolling and moving. But as you continue applying that consistent pressure and will, consistent aligned behavior, something magical starts to happen. What happens? The boulder not only gets easier to push, it starts pulling you forward. That's the moment when momentum shifts from something you create to something that actually carries you, y'all. This is beautiful stuff we tapping into today. Y'all have to really apply. First, learn it intellectually, listen to it over and over again, and then apply. This is all about momentum. And if you feel stuck in life, it's because you don't feel like you got no momentum in the direction you prefer. So this is what this is all about, and this is why it's relevant to you. And your boy, the behavioral coach, Justin, I got you. Just listen. That's all you got to do. You don't got to do nothing right now. Just sit back, relax, and listen. Now, the behavioral alchemy, let's tap into that. Now, let's talk about the invisible architecture of momentum, y'all. Your beliefs. So, in ABA, we understand that behavior is always serving a function. But what most behaviors miss is that beliefs are the hidden programming running the show. You are only behaving like this because there is a belief that's causing this to be the function, and it's manifesting itself in many different ways. Your beliefs about yourself, about what's possible, about what you deserve, these aren't just thoughts floating around in your head, in your mind, in your brain, y'all. No, I don't know who told you that. They're energetic frequencies that either magnetize or repel the momentum you're trying to create. The Buddhists calls this karma. You heard that word before? You thought karma meant something else, huh? The law of cause and effect that extends beyond just actions into the realm of intention and consciousness, y'all. Here's a very practical example for you, okay? Let's get your goal. Let's just say your goal is to build a successful business. Okay, that's a pretty cool goal to have. If your deep-seated belief is that I'm not cut out for success, then guess what's going to happen? Your every behavior you take toward that goal will be subtly sabotaged. You'll be sabotaging yourself without realizing. You'll be sabotaging any momentum you start to create. You might send that important email out, but you'll send it with an apologetic energy instead of a forceful, confident, bold type of approach. You might make that sales call, but you're unconsciously communicating your lack of confidence, your lack of self-worth. Like you really don't care to be doing this. Now, the ancient alchemists understood this perfectly. They weren't just trying to turn lead into gold. No. That wasn't the actual goal. They were trying to transmute the base metal of limiting beliefs into the gold of empowered consciousness. They were trying to transmute something of lesser energetic form to something of higher energetic form, higher value. But here's the secret that changes everything. You can interrupt this loop at any point and redirect your entire limiting belief system. In psychology, we call this the cognitive behavior feedback loop. See, your thoughts influence all of your behaviors, and your behaviors influence the results you're seeking. And your results reinforce your beliefs. So we got to get out of that loop, y'all. The Sufis have a beautiful practice called remembrance. And my last video I put up was about that. It covered it. The original blueprint of you. So go check it out. Anywho, constantly bringing awareness to the divine presence in every moment. When you apply this principle to momentum building, every behavior becomes an act of remembering who you were in the first place. Okay? You're realigning with who you were designed to be in the first place. You're not just going to the gym. You're remembering your commitment to honoring your body's temple. You're not just working on your business. You're remembering your dedication to serving your highest purpose. And that just touched me right there. Because for a while, like I said, my will, I sit back, chill, and kick my feet up for a little while, y'all. My momentum had dwindled. The only momentum I had was to chill, lay on the couch, lay in the bed, watch TV, watch Netflix. I'm human. I worked hard most of my life. So I'm like, man, the amount of energy I have to put. Let me just do something different right now. Just chillax a little bit. Tap into that feminine energy for a long stretch of period of time. But now we back on it, y'all. Okay? So, this is where behavior becomes sacred practice, where momentum becomes a form of prayer in motion. Why do you pray? Because you want something to happen. You want some form of momentum to be created from that prayer. So we're going to tap into the sacred rhythm, y'all. Let's dive deeper into something the productivity gurus miss, but the mystics have always known. Momentum has its own natural rhythm, its own sacred time. And the ancient Chinese understood this through the I Ching, the idea that there are seasons for actions and seasons for stillness, like I just described. I was chilling, I was still. Moments for pushing forward and moments for allowing the things you started to push forward to kind of take its course. Okay? But here's the crucial distinction. There's a difference between honoring natural rhythms and using them as an excuse for your inconsistency. Accountability. I always tell y'all, that's the word. Who's stopping you? We already been through this. Who's stopping you? Let's be real for one moment. Who's stopping you, y'all? You. Life is all about you versus you, not you versus them. It starts you versus you in the mirror first. Okay? So, think of it like surfing, y'all. A master surfer doesn't fight the waves. That's a losing battle. They read its energy and position themselves to harness its power. Your daily behaviors are how you position yourself to catch the waves of momentum when they come. True momentum mastery means learning to work with your energy cycles while maintaining consistent behavior patterns to reinforce that momentum over and over again. Okay? So that's like a real practical example is like, there are musicians who have what people call one-hit wonders. What happens when you are a one-hit wonder? A tremendous amount of momentum is thrown at you to the point where you didn't have enough momentum prior that you don't even know what to do with it. You don't know how to execute on that. So what you do? You don't take advantage of the momentum enough, if you so choose to care enough to do it, to actually become more than just a one-hit wonder. Okay? In ABA, we talk about behavioral chains, sequences of behaviors that link together to create complex patterns. The spiritual traditions understand this as a ritual, sacred actions that create energetic pathways for divine energy to flow, just like we was describing with the river earlier. Flow. Momentum is all about flow, allowing things to flow, creating the beginning of the flow. Here's a powerful reframe. Your morning routine isn't just a series of tasks. It's momentum rituals, y'all, that sets the energetic tone for the rest of your day. The consistency of the routine creates what psychologists call behavioral priming. Your brain and body literally expect success because you've trained them to associate these behaviors with forward movement. The Hindu comes in existence itself. You're flowing with it, like that surfer we were talking about. Resistance decreases, synchronicities increase, and what once felt like pushing that boulder uphill starts to feel like you're dancing with the universe, y'all. Dance with my father again. Stop playing, y'all. But here's what's crucial to understand. Alignment doesn't mean it's easy, man. It can be challenging, man. Sometimes the most dharma behavior, the one that creates the most powerful momentum, is the one that challenges you the most, stretches you the most. That's why I say you got to be prepared for the momentum you create. Like I was describing with the one-hit wonders. If you don't have that exercise of creating that much momentum at one time, then you might not be prepared for it. The Christian mystics call this carrying your cross. The Buddhists call it right effort. It's about choosing growth over comfort, expansion over contraction, even when every cell in your body wants to retreat and get up out of here. This is too hard, man. I don't want to do it. You have the discipline, the understanding that, oh, we have to do it. We have to train ourselves to do this, because that's the only way I'm going to create the momentum in my life that's going to serve the preference of how I want to live or what I want to experience. Okay? Now let's tap into the compound effect of consciousness, y'all. It's a compound effect. Now we're entering the realm where behavior meets metaphysics, y'all. Every action you take doesn't just create immediate results. That ain't how it works. But what it will create, it creates what's called momentum interest or momentum potential. Compound returns that build over time in ways you can't immediately see. But you have to understand intellectually that this is what's happening when you start an action. You're creating momentum, you're creating interest that's going to add up in a compounding way over time. But you can't see it immediately, but you know it's there. The Hermetic tradition teaches that everything is connected through what they call the universal web. When you consistently choose behaviors aligned with your highest good, you're not just affecting your personal trajectory, you're sending ripples through the collective consciousness that come back to support your momentum in unexpected and beautiful, surprising ways. And if you don't like surprises, well, all I can say is you better get prepared to like surprises if you're going to start building momentum. Because guess what? It's going to happen. It's a lot of surprises that's going to occur when you start building momentum and head in the direction that you say, or you say you believe you want to experience. Okay? In neuroscience, we're discovering that consistent behaviors literally reshape your brain through neuroplasticity. Okay? But the mystics have always known something even more profound. Consistent aligned behaviors reshape your whole energetic field, your aura, your vibrational frequency. Is vibrations. And you learning how to manage it and produce it and grow it and flow with it. You become a different person at the quantum level. Here's a practical example that bridges the science and the spirit. Because, I love both. I don't know why people think these concepts of spirit, spiritual, religion, sciences, and actual science like have to compete in a bashing way. Nah, these things are beautiful. You get something out of both. But when you consistently choose to exercise, you're not just building that physical strength. You're strengthening your discipline muscle, increasing your confidence, improving your mood through neurochemical changes, raising your energetic vibration, and demonstrating to the universe your commitment to honoring who? Yourself. Oh my God. All of these effects compound, creating momentum that extends far beyond just that physical fitness practice. This is beautiful, y'all. My wife works out now, and she was telling me like she thought it was about weight loss. But beyond the weight loss, she's getting so many other benefits. The discipline. She just feel better. She want to do better. It's a mental increase. She's increasing her vibrational state despite that the intention was about weight loss. Okay? So, the Kabbalist concept of tikkun olam, repairing the world, applies here beautifully, y'all. Every time you choose the higher path, every time you act from your authentic self rather than your programmed patterns, you're not just healing yourself. You're contributing to the healing of the collective, all of us. The more you work on you, guess who else is going to start being affected by you working on you? The people around you that you love the most. You have to show them an example. Sometimes what people need is just to see an example that is possible. And you could be that example. So let's be that example. Through working on our understanding of our behaviors and how to align our behaviors with the highest version of what we want to realize in this life. Okay? So in ABA terms, this is called generalization, y'all. When skills learned in one context transfer to other contexts. But in spiritual terms, this is alchemy, the transformation of consciousness that affects every area of our life simultaneously. The Buddhist teaching of interdependence reveals a profound truth. Your personal momentum is intimately, connected to the momentum of everyone and everything around you. When you commit to your own growth through consistent aligned behavior, you give others permission to do the same. Why? Because they see an example. That's all some people need. It's just to know that it's possible. Some people see and then believe instead of the other way around. That's okay. But understand, you don't have to be that person. You can be the person that believes first and then go create the thing for others to see. So, let's talk about the momentum multipliers, y'all. Let's talk about what I call momentum multipliers. What is that, you may ask? I'm glad you asked. Let me let you know. Let me tell you. You know what I'm saying? Specific behavioral strategies that don't just create momentum, they exponentially amplifies the momentum. Okay? First, the keystone behavior. In psychology, we've identified that certain behaviors have disappropriate positive effects on other behaviors. So, Mr. Charles Duhigg calls the keystone habits these the keystone habits. Okay? The Taoists would call them effortless actions that align with you and your natural flow of existence. When it becomes effortless, that's a whole nother level, y'all. I'm telling you. Like, man, there's nothing in me. I do this, man. This is who I am inside, bro. I just want to express it. It's effortless. It's a natural flow of my existence. And that's going to affect so many people when you tap into that for you. You don't give yourself enough credit, man. It's time to stop playing with who you really are, man. I'm trying to tell y'all something. And a lot of what we don't experience is due to our lack of understanding of our belief systems and our applied behaviors, y'all. Okay? For most people, morning movement is a keystone behavior. When you move your body first thing in the morning, you're not just exercising, you're proving to yourself that you can overcome inertia. You're flooding your system with good, feel good neurochemicals, okay? And you're starting your day from a place of strength rather than reactivity, y'all. 2, second, we're gonna talk. Hey, this word gonna come up a lot, man, when you listening to me. You know what I'm saying? Sacred accountability. Remember that word, pin it. Write it on the shirt so you can wear it all the time. Accountability. You feel me? This goes beyond just having someone check up on you. This is about creating what the ancient mystery schools called spiritual witnessing, y'all. Having someone hold space for your highest commitment while also calling you forward when you contract. Okay? Third, momentum tracking. So, all right. Let me get this word right. So if I mispronounce it, like I do other words, grace. That's all I ask for. The Phaedrians believe that numbers held sacred power. Okay? When you track your momentum building behaviors, you're not just collecting data. Nah. You're creating a feedback loop that reinforces your neural pathways and provides concrete evidence of your transformation. But here's the key that most people miss. These multipliers only work when they're grounded. Grounded in what? Your authentic purpose. Not just your surface level goals. If your surface level goals is, man, I'm just trying to get this money. I'm trying to get this bread. Or I'm just trying to have fun. Or I'm just trying to do something different. All of those are valid experiences to be had. But these multipliers, they will kick in when it's actually your authentic purpose on why you was here and what you're aligned here to do. All right. So now, all right, what's next? What's next? I know we on fire here, man. Stop playing, man. This behavior stuff is serious, y'all. What's next is the shadow side of momentum. All right. Now, we need to address something that the positive thinking crowd, such as myself, I ain't gonna lie, I like to think positive. But sometimes we can ignore stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because we're trying to think positive. Momentum can work against you just as powerfully as it can work with you. Momentum is neutral. It don't care if you do it, use the benefits of it or not. It don't care. But it's there for you at any point in time. Every behavior that takes you away from your goals create what I call counter momentum. All right. And here's the challenging part. Counter momentum often feels easier in that moment because it's flowing with your resistance patterns of resistance, fear, and limitations. So it feels good when you first dive into your counter momentum. But the psychoanalytical traditions understand this through the concept of repetition compulsion. Okay? Our unconscious tendency to repeat familiar patterns even when they're harmful. We doing stuff that's harming us over and over again. That's wild. Why we do that, y'all? Just come on, man. Let's get this right, y'all. The spiritual traditions call this karma. The binding force of unconscious actions that keep us trapped in cycles of suffering. And who told us we gotta suffer? Why we even create such an idea that we have to suffer? I'm not saying suffering shouldn't exist, but the idea that we have to? Come on, man. We gotta step up out of that. Create momentum to a whole nother idea, whole nother reality. But here's the empowering truth. Awareness transforms everything. Awareness transforms everything. People are afraid to be aware. The awareness isn't the negative thing. Just because you know, what you do with what you know is what people actually are scared of. The behavior that will have to take place because of what you're aware of is what people are actually afraid of. The moment you recognize counter momentum, you could choose to interrupt that pattern. The Sufis call this waking up from the sleep of unconsciousness. The Buddhists call it mindfulness. The behaviors call it contingency awareness. The key is learning to see your resistance not as evidence that you should quit, but as information about where your deeper healing work needs to happen, where you need to place your focus, your energy, your intention, your awareness. Every moment of resistance is actually a doorway to greater freedom if you have the courage to look it in the face and walk through that door. Like, oh yeah, I got this. Now I'm aware of my issues and what I need to focus on. I got this. I ain't worried about it. That's the mindset we got to start tapping into. Because once you're in that mindset and then you reinforce that mindset with the behaviors of actually doing it, the momentum is there. It's going to be built up. And now you own and popping. All right? Integration in action. So to all my fellow explorers, momentum isn't just a nice concept, man. Y'all might have heard this word, but this is seriously how life works. It's a fundamental force that's either working with you or against you every single moment and every single day. Okay? Your behaviors are your votes for the person you're becoming. Every aligned action is a vote for your higher self. Every misaligned action is a vote for your patterns of limitations. The beautiful truth is that you get to choose moment by moment which momentum you're building. The universe is already ready to support you. And when you demonstrate through your behaviors that you're serious about your transformation, universe is right there. God is right there. Source is right there. Ancestors is right there. Whatever you believe in that assists you. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. And trust your consistent aligned behavior, no matter how small, will create the momentum that carries you forward to your most vibrant life, y'all. Now let's keep exploring. Let's keep growing. And remember, you have everything within you to create the momentum that transforms not just your life, but the lives of everyone you come in contact with, influence, or touch. Until next time, this is your behavioral coach, Justin Fales, reminding you to ground your spiritual wisdom into your everyday behavior. Peace, purpose, and unstoppable momentum. Take it easy, y'all. Until the next one.